Okay, fine. Good afternoon, all. Today we'll start Mamangdai. Have you heard the name of Mamangdai? Have you heard the name of Mamangdai? Do you know who was
Yes, ma'am.
she? Who was she? Who was she? Okay. She is a poet and a novelist. She lives in Itanagar in the northeast India, state of Arunachal Pradesh. Today we'll know about Mamangdai. She has one collection of poetry, river poems, to her credit. Her next collection, Midsummer Survival Lyrics, is due for publication in 2011. She writes in English. She is a former member of the Indian Administrative Service. They left the service to pursue a career in journalism and writing. She has been correspondent for various newspapers, including the Telegraph, Hindustan Times, and the Sentinel, and has also written for television and radio. In addition to novels, she has written prose and stories for young readers. Her non-fiction work was in Arunachal Pradesh, The Hidden Land, which received the State Great Elwin Award in 2003. She is currently the General Secretary of the Arunachal Pradesh Literary Society, a member of the Northeast Writers Forum, and a General Council member of the Sahitya and Sangeet Natak Academy. This poetic word is one of river, forest, and mountain, Olympic and lyrical reflection of the terrain of our home state. Nature here is mysterious, verdant with myth, dense with sacred memory. There is magic to be found everywhere in the way lilies, navigating on a heartbeat, or soothing up like short. In the quiet equipoise of full bamboo distorted in sunlight, it in the quiet speechless ardor of mountains, and there is no doubt whatsoever that the river has a soul. When you might be inclined to wonder initially if this is a somewhat syllogism, but as you read closer, you sense more sinister undertone. To realize this, paradisical landscapes is also one of the guns and guards, punctuated by the footfall of soldiers. You also realize that the simplicity of these verse is not without guile. It possesses a gentle, persuasive refrain that can lead you a moment of heart-stopping surprise. Consider the poem Small Towns and the River, which was one of the greatest poets of Mamangdai, where the iteration of the river's soul consists with a mounting sense of human anxiety, leading you to the unexpected flows in small towns. By the river, we all want to walk with the gods. For all its simplicity, his poetry does not arrive at easy conclusion. There is no dissonant sense of anchor here, no blissful portrayal. Ideally, the poet describes our people as foragers for a destiny. Our work is pervaded by a deep unease about erased histories and an uncertain future. And yet, implicit in these poetics is the refusal to devote protest from love. An interview with her in which she eloquently articulates this view, which accompanies the edition. This seems to translate into a commitment of a poetry of quiet surges and edges rather than gritty texture and edges. It also translates into a voice that is never raised in rage or indignation, a tone that is hushed, wondering, thoughtful, reflective. The strength of this poetry is its unforced clarity, its ability to steer clear of easy flamboyance. So when she describes herself as a member of tribe of 10,000 messengers carrying the whispers of the world, we can realize that a heavy pretty unseen definition of what being a poet means to Mamangdai, who also realize what makes Dai such an effective messenger. One of the greatest poetry is small towns and the river. While portrays about her own small town, that's the poetry is about the small towns and the river, that small towns always remained near there. The poet or poetess thought that small towns reminds her always about their of her town. The poetry is that small towns and the river, small towns always remind me of death. My hometown lies calmly amidst the trees. It is always the same in summer or winter, with the dust flying or the wind howling down the gorge. This small town always reminds her about the death of his homely cities, that his hometown lies calmly amidst that all the trees, whether it is summer or winter, the dust flying all the time and howling down the church. Just the other day, someone died. In the dreadful silence, we weep. We weep in the dreadful silence as someone died, looking at the sad wraith of pure roses, life and death, life and death. Only the rituals are permanent. He says that only the rituals which will remain permanent, but people will die and life will end. The river has a soul. In the summer, it cuts through the land like a torrent of grief. Sometimes, sometimes I think it holds its breath, seeking a land of fish and stars. She thought that the river, which is a soul, whether it is summer, it's like a torrent of grief. Sometimes hold its breath, but seeking a land of peace and stars, the river has a soul. It knows stretching past the town, from the first drop of rain to dry earth and mist on the mountain top, the river knows the immortality of water. He thought that this river, snatching the past things of the town and drop it in the rain and dry the earth and mist in the mountains. The river knows that the immortality of water that will drop everything in that river, in the midst of the river. Do you understand this till now? Megha, any question?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No, madam.
Okay. A shrine of happy pictures marks the days of childhood. Small towns grow with anxiety for the future. The dead are placed pointing west. When the soul rises, it will walk into the golden east, into the house of the sun. Now she thoughts about the happy picture which makes his childhood days. Everybody's childhood is very joyful, and she thoughts about her childhood which was full of joyfulness or happiness, that in that small town which now grows with anxiety for the future. There is only anxiety, there is no happiness in that small town. The dead are placed pointing west. When the soul rises, it will walk into the golden east, into the house of the sun. Everything will walk into that east, which now becomes golden, and the rises of the sun shine. In the cool bamboo, distorted in sunlight, light matters like this. Like the bamboo trees, light matters in the sunlight as it matters, the light matters like that bamboo trees. In that small town by the river, we all want to walk with the gods. Now the poet want to go by that river in that town, and she want to walk with the gods and want to go towards the gods. This is the poetry of Mamangai, small towns and the river, where he portrays about her own hometown, where he means a river which is a symbol of death. Small town and the river is a poem about life and immortality. The town symbolizing death presents a weeping picture of those who have lost their dear ones. In this poem, not only the poet grieves, but the town also mourns the loss. Moreover, the poet presents everything, a contrast in the image of the river that lives eternally. Whereas humans are prone to death and decay, however, the symbolism and imagery used in this poem make the poet's idea more thoughtful and provoking and interesting for the readers. The small town and the river talks about life, about death by using the symbols of the small towns and the rivers, which was her own town. Small town and the river presents a dusty and gloomy atmosphere, or the dusty and gloomy picture of small towns in the first two stanzas. According to the poet, in small towns, every other day, news of someone's death comes and makes one sad. Likewise, there is death in her town in every day, which makes her sadful and creates anxiety. That's why she had to write that type of poem. The river is permanent in comparison to people living in the towns. Moreover, in the following stanzas, the poet talks about the eternal life, the concept of the afterlife, and having God as a guide pacifies the poet amidst the death-ridden thoughts which constantly cause pain to her soul. The God's guide, which specifies the poet and makes her heart with painfulness, which constantly causing pain to her heart day by day and creates anxiety within her. Small towns and the river consist of 4 stanzas, each having an irregular line count. The overall poem does not contain the specific rhyme scheme that depends on the intricacy of eternal thinkings. Moreover, there are a few instances where the poet uses slant strikes. The first lines portrays about life, death, etc., which causes an anxiety within the people. Small towns and the river, which begins with a paradoxical thinking. Poets generally associate the idea of death with small towns or any such inhabitants. Here, the poet personifies her hometown, where dust and wind is the main theme, and also the river. Moving forward in dreadful silence, there is the poet's own personal thinking. Apart from the lines of the second stanza, we find that there is a mostly connected things use of different thinkings. The sad wraith of tuberoses. Along with that, there is life and death. Only the rituals remains permanent. In the stanza, there is a comparison between the river with the torrent grief. In that torrent grief, there we find a critical thinking of the poet. There is a refrain. The river is the soul. The poet thought that the river grows with the soul, which is the beginning of that fifth stanza. Moreover, in that mist on the mountain top, there is we find the alliteration which gets sound repeated again and again. Then in the golden east, the house of the sun that contains the periphrasis. However, the last 2 lines contains another paradoxical thinking. That means this present the section or the previous section of that poem, that small towns and the river contains some important things, themes such as mortality, life versus death, eternity, nature, and spirituality. The theme of mortality haunts the poet the most thought, the symbol of small towns. The poet introduces this theme. Moreover, the theme of life versus death is not equal. It is an integral part of our poetic reflection on mortality. The imagery used to depict this theme can be found in the wreath of tuberoses and the river that remains constant throughout the poem, where we find the river symbolically depicts the death and nature and its permanence. Everything remains the same, but life will one day be decayed, and only the rituals remain the same and permanent. Apart from that, the poet resorts to cozy bosom of spirituality for recovering the grief. The hope of the afterlife gives the poet peace of mind. And the poet thought that after death, she can grew into spirituality and the hope of afterlife give the poet a peace of his mind and she can rest forward. Now the small towns which always reminds her of about her death or the wind howling down that church. It portrays so many different things about the poet, the poetry. Small towns always remind me of death. My hometown lies calmly amidst the trees. It is always the same in summer or winter with the dust flying or the wind howling down the gorge. In this stanza, the poet wants to say that the here introduces the first paradox of the poem. The poet says that the small towns remind her of nothing other than death. Which is the symbol of death? Dipanita, which is the symbol of death? Pardon?
কোশ্চেনটা আরেকবার বলেন।
Which is the symbol of death?
রিভার।
Yes, river. River is the symbol of death in this poetry. The here wants to portray about the river again and again that become the symbol of death. The poet says that small town remind her of nothing other than death. She lives in a small town amidst the trees, but the life there is the same. According to the poet, living in the town is a monotonous thing or the monotonous journey that ends at the hands of death. Here, the dust is a synecdoche that presents another symbol of death in this section. Moreover, the howling of the wind creates a gloomy mood. Here, the use of the different thinkings resonates with a pessimistic note after the death. In the next stanza, just the other day someone died. In the dreadful silence we wept, looking at the end, the sad wraith of tuberoses, life and death, only the rituals remain permanent. Here, the poet wants to say that small towns and the river by Mamangai presents the theme of death in the second stanza. Just the other day, someone dies in small towns. The news makes the poet sad and she mourns the loss. After seeing that she had wreath lying on a dead person's bosom, somehow reminds the poet of her mortality. Here the poet presents the tuberoses as the messenger of death. Moreover, there is a repetition of life and death again and again in this stanza. It refers to continue cycle of life and death. These two things are temporary. According to the poet, only the rituals are permanent. Everything will be decayed, but the rituals remains permanent. Here the poet turns the maxim, nothing is permanent except birth and death. After that she said, upside down. The last two lines reflect the poet's disillusionment about life after seeing many deaths in her own small town. In the next stanza, the poet says that the river has a soul. It knows stretching past the town from the first drop of rain to dry earth and mist of mountain tops, and river knows the mortality of water. That means the poet wants to say in that stanza, or the third stanza, the poet presents a contrast, whereas in the previous section, she discussed about mortality, but in this section, she highlights the permanence of the river. She says the river has a soul. The river has a soul again and again. She says in that summer, it flows across lands. Here she uses the metaphor of torrent of grief to portray the river's course in the dry season. Moreover, the poet personifies the river to invest it with the ideas of holding. The explorer thinks that breathe and seeking something. She thinks as if the river is an explorer who seeks the land of fish and stars. This imagery reflects the force of the river water and it flows. In the next stanza, she says that a shrine of happy pictures. Sorry, the stanza before. The river has a soul, it knows stretching past the town from the first drop of rain to dry earth and mist on the mountain tops. The river knows the immortality of water. In that stanza, the small town and the river where dive retells that river has a soul. The river knows about the towns where death lays her icy hands. Her knowledge is not limited to towns only. She knows the first drop of rain that revolutes the dry earth and the mist of the mountain top that circles down the mountain like a scarf. And last but not the least, she is aware of the immortality of water. In this way, the poet also immortalizes the river. As the river becomes the symbol of death, the poet has to immortalize the river again and again. After that, in the another stanza, the poet says that a shrine of happiness or the happy pictures marks the days of childhood. Small towns grow with anxiety. For the future, the dead are placed pointing west, where the soul rises. It will walk into the golden east, into the house of the sun. Throughout these stanzas, the poet wants to reveal that it presents another context or contrast. Firstly, Joy refers to the shrine of happy pictures of childhood. When she was a little child, she has happiness in her mind, but when she becomes old or grows old, there is anxiety in his mind about her small towns. Childhood is the beginning stage of life. The happy of pictures of one's childhood remind her of the purity of the soul at his dawn. That's why she compares the childhood days to a shrine. In contrast, small towns grows anxious about the future. Anxious about the future is the poet's anxiety about death that eagerly awaits in the future. In the following lines, the poet refers to the eternity of the soul, the hope of shedding of the mortal burden, and ascending to the house of the sun in the golden east revives the poet with new energy. The sunrise, when the sun rises in the golden east, revives the poet with a new energy. After that, in the next stanza, the poet says that in the cool bamboo, distorted in sunlight, life matters like these. In this poetry, to throughout this stanza, the poet here wants to say that the meaning of life is and its importance in this short stanza is different. According to the poet, life is like the sunlight that warms the cool bamboo, is temporary and still beautiful. Moreover, the cool bamboo is a reference to the body and the sunlight is a symbol of the soul. Apart from that, the poet says sunlight is important to any living plants. Likewise, life is also important for keeping the spirit of the universe alive. Life is like the bamboo trees or these types of living plants. In the next stanza, the poet says that in the small towns by the river, we all want to walk with the gods. In that last stanza, the poet wants to say or wants to portray that the small towns and these rivers which transplants our dread thoughts from the mind. She says living in small towns has made the poet strong. Now the thoughts of spirituality and eternity are in her mind, and the poet can understand that after death she can realize the spirituality and the peace in her mind, and she can feel the eternity of the world. Like the poet, others of the soul in that small towns only wish to walk with gods after their death. This section highlights the poet's belief in the artificial life, where in that afterlife she can find the eternal bliss. The poet expects that after her death, she can acquire the eternal bliss apart from all those anxious things. And apart from that, the repetition of the W sound in the last line, such as harmonious rhyme, reflects the poet's peaceful state of mind, that the poet portrays that she wants to walk in the path of God. Likewise, we all want to walk with the God. She also wants to walk with God and can acquire the most peaceful things in her mind. Okay, so this is the poetry of Mamang Dai, the small towns and the river. Is there any problem with this poetry? Do you all understand this or any queries?
No, ma'am. Understood.
So the poetry is about what? So the poetry is about what? Megha, you tell the poetry is about what?